Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. Alright, it's still day one of my 2-day weekend, but I'm going to do a second vlog today. We're going to get going on building those shelves. You recall yesterday I went out and bought a tuner for my surround system, and yesterday I wanted to build some shelves in order to hold the tuner and the center speaker and the DVD player and the cable box. And so we're going to start doing that today. This is going to be my first official woodworking project. This is going to be a technique that I've used a bunch of times because I used it on my kitchen table at home. I used it on another counter at home. I used it on a couple of shelves that I used that I had the center speaker and stuff like that on in California. I built something from my mom like this, and so I'm going to duplicate this technique again. Basically, I take a piece of 3/4 inch plywood and I put some 3/4 inch oak paneling on it and stain it up really nice and shape it, and it looks really good, and it's a nice solid platform to put this stuff on. And I think it'll look really nice. Like I said, I did it before. I could probably use the ones from before, but they were I kind of stained them a little darker than I want. I want to do kind of a lighter color here. Maybe something that's going to match the wood on the desk back here. Kind of keep everything tied together because that kind of looks better, right? So first thing I got to do is go to Home Depot and buy some supplies. Alright, so I've done all my measurements, kind of calculated what I'm going to need to do all this. And so I'm ready to go. Let's head over to Home Depot. Alright, so I got all the pieces I need. This is going to be the plywood backing for everything. And then I'm going to layer this 3/4 inch oak paneling over it. And this will be the edging material. And I got my stain and my polyurethane protective coating and some drywall anchors. So I think that's it. Let's get all this stuff checked out and go home. Alright, I'm back home. I gotta say, I always loved working with oak because I love the wood grain on it. But the one part about it that's really difficult, makes it hard, is that it is horrendously expensive. These 4 pieces were almost $150. Yikes. So this is the kind of thing I'm going to build here. This is actually one of the shelves that used to be part of the surround system in California. I like these, but they're a little dark and they got a little damage on the way over here too. So basically what this is, it's 1.5 inches thick. It's solid oak. Basically what it is, it's a piece of oak plywood on the bottom and this oak paneling stuff that you see here on the top. And basically I just kind of glue it into place because wood glue, you know, does a pretty good job holding this stuff. And then of course I have this piece of plywood here, which is going to be the backing piece. That's going to be the piece that's on the bottom. This piece here. And so what I'm going to do is start by cutting this to the size of the individual shelves that I measured out, and then we'll start attaching these to that. Alright, so we finished cutting the 4 base pieces. This is the part that's going to be underneath. That's going to be the one for the center speaker. This is going to be the one for the tuner, the cable box, and the Blu-ray player. Now all I got to do is cut these pieces to length and basically glue them onto the surface, roughly the same size, slightly larger, just because what I'll do is once I get everything properly connected and attached, then what I'll do is I'll actually do the final cut, and that will be a nice smooth cut because all these pieces here are slightly larger than what's needed, so that I can cut them down a little bit. You can always cut them smaller, you can't always cut them larger. So I've had another little critter come and visit me in the house. This time in the garage. I was doing some work and I saw this guy. Now this guy is big. You know, you may not get it from that picture, but he's good 6-7 inches long. And like I said, I was just working on the garage here, and he jumped out from a corner. It kind of startled me here. So yeah, we're gonna let him out in the yard too. He doesn't need to be in here. This isn't a good place for him. No food in here. All right, goodbye, buddy. Go run away. Oh, and then you're gonna head back to the garage, huh, aren't you? Yeah, that's what you're gonna do, aren't you? Crazy. Alright, so I've got the oak put onto the base plates and glued into position, and right now we just need to let it dry for a while. This glue tends to set up pretty solidly in a couple hours, so we're just gonna let it rest here for a while. I got a good weight on it. I got it clamped together really well. And so we'll come back and finish this up in a little bit. So I think while I'm waiting for the glue to dry on the shelves, I'm actually going to try and hang the speakers and kind of get them into position. Alright, so I'm not going into the stud this time because I want actually to have perfect spacing with the TV and have the TV perfectly centered between the speakers. So I'm just using some kind of heavy duty drywall anchors. These things are rated about 75 pounds a piece. So I could actually hang something that's probably 10 times heavier than what I'm putting on here. But that's fine. I don't want it to walk out or fall off or at any point. So these should be probably almost overkill for what I'm doing, but that's fine. You know, I have a tendency to over design things here, and this will hold very well and it won't shake out even if the speakers are vibrating a lot. So I got the left and right front speakers set on here. I intentionally kind of set them so they were about 4 inches off the TV on both sides, and I tried to get them to the point where they look like they're level with the top of the TV, because you know, if they don't look, if they aren't perfectly level, it's going to look wrong. And so I think these look pretty good. Now let's try and get the back speakers done. That's going to be a little bit more of a challenge. Alright, so I knew this was going to be a little bit complicated. This is the center line right now for the sweet spot. It's dead center with the TV. Now the problem is, if I mount the speaker normally, it's going to have to be mounted like 15 or 18 inches away from that, which isn't going to give me much separation left to right on the rear speakers. So what I've actually done is I redesigned the bracket a little bit so that I can mount the speaker sideways. That's going to put a lot more torque on the bracket, but fortunately I got that 75-pound anchor on there, so it should be fine. One of the things that you want to do if you are going to mount a speaker sideways like this is you always want to mount it with the tweeter on the outside, because on audio, lower frequencies are more omnidirectional and higher frequencies are more unidirectional. So if you mount them towards the outside, away from the center, you'll get better left to right separation. So now I got probably about 4 feet between the center line and the speaker. So now I can go on the other side and go the same distance on that side and mount that speaker. So let me go redesign that bracket too. Alright, so we got the speakers on the wall. As I mentioned before, I got the tweeters on the outside. They're perfectly centered left to right off the vertical axis of the room, perfectly lined up to the TV and the sweet spot in the chair down here. Now all I got to do is run the wires up to it and we'll be good to go. So I think I've decided I'm going to allow the shelves to just kind of dry overnight. So I think I'm going to wrap up this vlog right now, come back tomorrow and we'll finish this off. And until then, thank you as always for watching, and I will see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.